Welcome back everybody, my name is Max Rank and this is Vaux Fortress. So this time on Complete Conquest Map guides, we find ourselves on the Vaux Peninsula in 1914. The Ottoman Empire is attempting to defend its hilltop fortress from a massive land and sea attack by the British. The real battle took place on November 6, 1914 on Vaux Beach in Mesopotamia, which in modern times is known as Iraq. The British landed on Vaux Beach only to be met with heavy fire from Vaux Fortress, and although they managed to repel these heavy assaults, they could not advance because their artillery had not yet landed. 2 days later, on November 8th, the British artillery did arrive and immediately started shelling the fort. It fell after only 45 minutes and the British took over 300 Ottoman prisoners. This ended the Ottoman control of the Persian Peninsula and safeguarded all of Britain's interests in the region for the rest of the war. So that's the history dispatched with. I hope you enjoy the history section. I like to throw some of the history in there. These battles were real and it really did happen. This is not just a video game, and sometimes it's interesting to hear what the true story was behind these maps that have played out. DICE have put these in a real time, and so I try to do my best to explain to you where we are and what we're doing and the real story behind it. So that being said, let's move swiftly on with the overview of the map. So here is a picture of the map, and as you can see by the arrows indicated, we are spawning on the British side, which is by the A flag, and on the opposite side of the G flag is the Ottoman Empire, or the Turkish side, and also indicated by their own arrow. So that's the map overview out the way. So let's move on to the nitty gritty and really what makes this map go bang. So as you can see by the map image that's in the top corner of the screen, there are really 3 opening run routes that you want to be running. Now let's start on the English side and explain exactly what this means. Now normally for me, I would run the A run route, which is straight down onto the B flag. Now you'll see from the video playing in the background here, this wasn't actually possible. The Turkish side had pushed up, they'd taken the D flag, the C flag, and were in the process of capturing the B flag. And so what I chose to do was actually use the middle arrow, which is the push route onto C, and sit back and just look at the D flag, C flag and B flag, and just to see exactly what was going on. And when I was comfortable that my team was actually taking B, I would push onto the C flag. Now I like using this route that comes in from the side, especially in the early phases of the game, and this is an early run route tutorial. So coming in from the side of C catches a lot of the guys coming off of the D flag onto C and trying to push to B, catches them off guard because they'll be focused on the B flag or butter, and they'll be focused on that flag, and therefore you can catch them off guard sometimes by hitting them in the side, and their observation is looking the wrong way, so you can smack them in the side, catch them off guard, and then jump onto the flag, by which time hopefully your team will have pushed off of butter and will be pushing back onto the C flag. The other opening route that you can use from the British side, and I prefer to use this if I decide to pick up the cavalry, is I will push on the top blue arrow and I'll push straight over towards D. Now this gives you the option, you can either stay at D and try and cap the flag with the horse. The problem with doing that is you'll find that the Turkish team will actually come straight over the mound and ping you straight off of that flag pretty quickly, and so I wouldn't really advise staying on the D flag. Instead, utilize it, and it really is more of a suicide mission than anything, but utilize the horse and the cavalry, go charging through the D flag and actually drop straight down. As they come off of G, what you'll find is there'll be a whole bunch of infantry trying to make their way up the hill, and I've had upwards of 6 or 7 kills as you just plow through them all, slashing them to hell. Now what that does, of course, is it actually slows their advancement down onto the D flag, giving your team or your squad the opportunity to push through C and push up onto D. So that's the British side. Now let's look at what happens if you spawn on the Ottoman Empire side. Well, as you can see, there is another 3 arrows. The main route will be people pushing straight up onto the D flag. This, by some, is accrued to being one of the best capture points on the flag, and on the map, I should say. And if you hold this flag, then you can dominate the whole map. Not so sure that I completely agree with that, but capturing D can be very important, and certainly can give you map control over the center of the map. So the majority of your team will probably push straight up the bank, push onto D, and be going on that way. The alternate route, of course, is to push straight down the beachhead, run straight into C, which will run you pretty much headlong into any of the British guys that are coming straight into C and doing exactly what I did. So I'd be very careful doing this route. By the time you get to the C flag, the British should have captured butter at that point, so they could well be pushing from 2 different angles. So you may find yourself having to fight people from the left and from the right and in front of yourself. So it's a route to run depending on whether or not the British have managed to cap D and get all the way up there, which can happen. That's an alternate route to run. The other route, which is the sneaky route, is to cross the water, go straight across and actually cap the fort right at the beginning and give yourself 2 easy E and F flag caps before you even begin out of the gate. The benefit to doing this is that the British team typically will capture butter, push over to C, be making their movement all the way up to D, so you can now capture E and F and then push behind them to capture B and then come up into C and then stay within the middle of the map. So there's the opening run routes out of the way, and now we're going to move into key locations and capture points. But before we do, fun little fact I'd just like to throw in there that I only found out the other day, was quite excited about and I didn't know, made me chuckle. So Apple, Butter, Charlie, Duff, Edward, Freddie, George, those are all the names used by the phonetic alphabet back in World War I. It was also changed in World War II, and subsequently we end up with the phonetic alphabet that we all know and love today. However, in the game, I did not know this, but in the game, every single flag actually has a name. So, not being apples, for example, so apples is Turtle Hill, butter is Sunwanda Redoubt, the C flag, Charlie, is Marsh Village, Duff is actually Al 4 Battery, we have Edward is the outer courtyard, Freddie is the inner courtyard, and then G for George is the Chateau Arab Post. I thought that was kind of interesting. I thought I'd throw that out there as information. Every single map, and you'll see this throughout my map guides, is that every single map, every single flag has its own name, which I thought was kind of cool. Doesn't help you with the gameplay, of course, and this is not a competitive game, but I just thought that was a fun fact to throw in there. Right, so let's swiftly move on. Key capture points and key locations on this map. I've indicated on the map by stars to show you the blue stars are all 100% capture points. The red stars actually show you from the opposite team places which to run onto these flags with which to take them. I would always try and cap these flags from the blue star locations as marked on this map if you can push yourself into that position. The only exception to this rule is on apples and is on butter. If you find yourself on the Ottoman side, which is the red star, if you push to the end of the gully indicated by that star, you'll actually find yourself right on the edge of Butter's capture point, which is fantastic because it gives you places to back up to, and you can pick off the guy that will be sitting in the blue star point, which is where I always sit, which you probably have seen already in the video behind you. If you're on the Apple side, the red star route is a great route to run up all the way around the outside of the fence, which lines the pathway down towards B if you're coming off of apples. And by doing that, you conceal yourself behind the rock face before eventually popping up with a direct sight line straight onto apples. Most of the team, you see it time and time again, will sit behind the artillery piece which sits on apples, and so they're easy targets and you can pick them off very easily. If you're like me, on the other hand, you'll be sitting on the blue star, I'll be pitched up behind a rock, and in which case I'm going to shoot you as you come over that cliff face because that's where I'm looking and that's what I know. But it's a great tactic to employ, and these two flags are the only two real flags where you need to employ that kind of tactic. Moving on to Charlie, the blue star actually indicates a key location. First of all, I like to move at this location across onto Charlie after we've captured butter. It's a great point to look at. You can look right back down into where the enemy's going to be running from, and you can see absolutely the whole of Charlie right from this position. More importantly, you can actually capture the flag from the water, so you don't actually have to leave it, go and sit in the building in the corner and get naded out of there by some crazy person that's, throwing in 30,000 anti-tank grenades. On the red star on the other side of Charlie is the approach line that I would use if I was playing on the Ottoman team. So if I come in from that angle, I will make my way across the Charlie flag down into the water. I will start capping the flag basically from behind me, but it gives me a sight line down onto butter. My body is concealed within the water, and therefore I can pick them off as they come off the butter flag from both left and the right side. That's assuming, of course, that my team has pushed up onto Charlie. Duff is pretty well self-explanatory. You can only capture it from the top, so unfortunately you're going to have to go all the way around. The stars indicate obviously the sides that you're most likely to approach the flag from. If you want to approach from the Ottoman side, if you're on the British side like I do, then invariably you stand the risk of getting shot in the back. So the choice is entirely up to yours. But once you're on the Duff flag, tips for capturing Duff: get yourself an incendiary grenade. If you're anything like me and you like to run the scout class, you'll have an incendiary grenade. Put it down on one side of the flag, and it gives you an early warning system. If they run through it and trip it and they burn and die, well then that's fantastic, that's a free kill for you. But invariably if they run over it and trip it, or even if they shoot it and set it off, now you know which side they're coming from, and you can turn around and pretty much nail them in the head. So that's pretty much the key points, capture point locations for this map. You'll notice that I haven't covered the fort. I don't run up to the fort. There is no tactical advantage or even a reason to take E and F. If you control B, C and D, then there is absolutely no reason for you to go anywhere near the fort. You cannot win this map by taking those flags and just holding those flags. So if that is your tactic, that you just want to sit up there and control the fort, well guess what, you're going to lose every single time, because you cannot win this game by holding those flags. If you do however find yourself spawn trapped up at E and F in the fort, then get your squad together, or even as a solo player on your own, run out the back of the fort, cross the water by G, come up the ramp as if you'd come off the original spawn, and start taking D behind the enemy team. What you'll find is the majority of them will be pitched up on the beach from Butter, looking up to the fort, trying to pick you off as you run out of the fort, and all you've done is basically take a very long flanking route, go all the way around behind the enemy team, take them out, and now you can start pushing back down the hill towards Charlie. So there you have it. That is my map review, my map guide of Foul Fortress. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you'd like to see other map guides, then please check out the links below or hit the thumbnails. And if you want to stay up to date with all my content, then please subscribe. For all the latest news about my channel and Battlefield 1, follow me on Facebook, Twitter or Google+, and don't forget to check out my live stream every Wednesday at 7 PM Central Time and on Saturdays 10 AM at Central Time in the US. Add 6 hours if you're in London. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed. Until next time, my name is Max and it's been emotional.